Okay, I want to do a little cleanup on this tutorial here, and then we're going to add a score when we destroy the enemy. But the way I have my enemy set up is I made an empty game object, and I tagged it enemy, and then the cube wasn't tagged enemy. If I keep it untagged and my projectile hits the enemy actually won't disappear, and there's a reason for that. I needed to match up what's on screen here with this line here. See, this says if it collides with something tagged enemy, and it's actually hitting, the projectile is actually hitting this cube here, and it was untagged. And when I was testing this out on my own, I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on, and that was it. So make sure the object that's actually taking the collision has enemy attached to it, so now it could disappear. And I'm going to add the projectile splash to that. And so the way I'm going to do that is in this code here. We're going to put this splash in the right place. I'm going to say, let's go, let's take this line here. I think I have this in the wrong place for some reason. And let's put this here. And we don't have, do we have the splash already? We need this splash, this public game object, to be set into our public field. And where is that? So when we select projectile in our prefabs folder, we could actually add the projectile splash to it. So let's go here, and projectile splash, it's already linked up. Okay, I guess I did that before. And so let's make sure everything's working. And where is that splash occurring? I don't see the splash happening. Is my splash empty, in fact? No. Just don't really see it. Maybe I should make these bigger, huh? Let's see, start size, let's make them 1, just so we can see it better. And let's see if that actually is hitting and we're just not seeing it. So this splash is position 0, 0, 0. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so, oh, I see it coming off the back of the screen. What is going on there? Let's take a look. I think I have, if I look in the game view this way, or in the scene view, let's take a look at what's going on. So I'm going to shoot the enemy and see that my splash is actually adding, or going the wrong, facing the wrong way. So let's turn this around on, we know it's coming out that way. Let's rotate it on the y-axis. Let's go, let's see, 180, or maybe just 90. Okay, and let's see what that does when we hit play. Okay, so it was hiding behind that background. We could play with the background if we want. Okay, so we could adjust that later. So I'll play around with that off screen and make my splash look better. Okay, and then we might at some point want to deal with our background in a different way, maybe put it way in the distance or do a different technique altogether. But so what we're going to go moving forward is we just want to add score when we destroy this enemy as well. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my game script back open. And in this game script, what I'm going to do is add a new function. And I'm going to write public void. So when it's public, it can be accessed from different places outside of this own script. So we're going to say, and then in here, this is kind of neat. You can write, it can take a value. You could send a value from somewhere else, and I'm going to call this score value, just to keep it making sense. And then I'm going to put these open curly brackets, and we're going to say score plus equals score value, whatever that gets sent to us from somewhere else. And then we're going to say text score, because we've already defined this earlier. We're going to say text score dot text equals score to string. And you could probably copy and paste this right here if you want, if that makes you work faster, or if you like working that way. Okay, and then so we need to access this from somewhere else. So we're going to access this from the projectile script. Okay, so in the projectile script, we're going to go ahead and we need to get a hold of that game script file. How are we going to do that? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and declare a, I'm going to put it up here. I like to keep things alphabetical. So I'm going to say public game object. I don't actually know that it needs to be public, but object. And we're going to call this game script object. Okay, now this game script object, we're going to look for it right away. Okay, and we're going to say, what I've done is I've looked up on Unity how to find objects by name. And in Unity, you'll see it gives you an example, and it's going to say hand equals game object. But we're going to say, we're going to change this. We're going to write game script object equals, and then we know that we called our game script object, we named it game script. So it's going to look for that. Okay, it's going to look for that in the scene. So that's great. So now we can refer to this thing down here and call its function, that add score function. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here. We're going to say game script object. We're going to get a component on it, and get component, and we know that it has game script written on it. We know that script is attached to it because we've done that before. And this is how you write it. You put parentheses and then dot, and then we're going to write the name of the function. We're going to say add, what is it? Add score. Yep, add score. We call it add score. And then in parentheses here, we're going to add the value we want. Let's just say 10. Or how about 100? Let's make it a big number. Okay, so what we're doing is we're referring to the object in the scene, and then we're getting a component that's attached to it. Well, you might be lost on that. Let's take a look. I'm going to save this real quick. I'm going to take a look here at the game script, and on it, we attached a code file on it. Okay, so that's what we were looking at right here. That's the code, the script name, and then that's the function inside of it. Let's cross our fingers and see if everything's working correctly. Okay, so here we go. Let's open up the console in case we, get component. Component. Oh, I didn't spell component right. Component. Okay, and let's see. Let's clear that. Okay, and let's see what happens. Let's hope that score gets added. Okay, and it did. Okay, great. Okay, so let's have fun working all that. Get your enemies squared away. Go ahead and take some shots and see if you can raise your score, and have fun doing that. Okay, have fun.